Dr. Jason Perry, a constitutional scholar, gives us a 32-minute first-hand account of the fraud that occurred at Equis Financial during the winter of 2021 before they received the cease and desist from the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, for deceiving new insurance agents into believing that they should expect to earn high incomes from joining their multi-level marketing MLM lead selling organization. It is apparent to me that Equis Financial hired actors to act as regular insurance agents on their Facebook video conferences. The so-called regular agents acted as if they are earning big money from buying Equis Financial leads. The FTC put a stop to this shenanigan. Dr. Perry gives us detailed examples of additional frauds that this integrity marketing group subsidiary and sister company of Family First Life did. Dr. Perry's animated explanations, I believe, lets us understand perfectly the dynamics of this scam that is being thrust upon new insurance agents. Please like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, if you are a victim of an integrity marketing group company such as Equis Financial or Family First Life, please file complaints with your state attorney general, the FTC, and other relevant government agents. I will include the links in the video description. Jason Perry of Houston, Texas, tell us your story.
So I'm an academic. I have a bachelor's degree from the University of St. Thomas, political science, and the Constitution pre-law. I have a master's degree from the American Public University. That is a subsidiary of the American military. And I studied the Constitution, got a master's degree in that. After I got my master's degree, you can qualify to start teaching college. I started teaching college at that point. And then I went to the North Central University, which is an advanced research university. It's only for a doctorate. They allowed me to pick my own research. My research was stock market, specifically S&P and oil and gas trading, derivative, volatility measurement. I did that for 5 years while teaching, got my PhD, and then taught MBA courses, became disillusioned with education. College is very expensive. A lot of college managers were just at the point of saying, if the student doesn't pass class 1, then they can't go on to class 2, which means they can't purchase class 2. And college seemed to be turning into like a for-profit business. So I got out of college, I left. Okay, now I want a new career. And insurance did interest me. I got an email that someone wanted to give me a job interview. When I learned the insurance industry better, I learned it's actually the other way around. It really, the agent should be interviewing the company, not the company interviewing the agent. When you become an agent, you have the power, not the company. The companies are fighting to get you to work for them, not you the other way around. I get a phone call from this regional manager in Florida. His job was to open up new territory for Equis Financial. And he represented to me that they were dividing the country up into regions. Equis Financial saw kind of like a whole Houston Metroplex area. If you know the Houston television market, it's about 7 million people. He made the representation. They felt it was kind of like there wasn't enough representatives in this region. What they were looking for is someone to come on, join the company, learn how to make money, and start making money with the company. Once they got all that down, which they said would probably take about a year, and then they wanted that person to go out and start going to all of the different suburbs and get more Equis agents. It was the first time they mentioned the tenets of multi-level marketing and represented that I would be making a 5% royalty off of every office that opened up. And since being with Equis Financial, I have learned that when you're an agent, even before you get your license, a lot of these companies, they're called like insurance marketing organizations or insurance aggregators. They allow you to get a username and password to their website. You can log in, you get access to their training, access to see how their lead systems work, access to all that. I got username and password, so I got access to their system and to see everything. Their training and their materials is anything you could find on YouTube. You could literally just YouTube how to sell insurance. Probably find better material just Googling how to sell insurance or going on the Amazon Kindle store and typing in how to sell insurance and buying a $3 Kindle. You'd probably get better information than the training that they had. The ideas they had for training were in no way proprietary. When you get your username and password and everything, you get emailed at the beginning of the week a Zoom number link. So everyone, make sure to remember to watch our meetings. I watched many of them. I will tell you that the training portion of Equis Financial and learning like how to be a salesman is a lot of it is they would just clip 4 minutes out of a meeting. They're like, oh, that was a good 4 minutes. During the meeting, they'd be like, oh, we'd like that 4 minutes. And they would take that 4 minutes and then load it up to their training website and call it a training training video. A guy sitting at a desk saying like, this is how you do this. Or they were just like the 4 minutes of a meeting that they'd cut out and said, this is a training. They were always the same. So the meeting was a man, he would represent himself that he was some sort of manager or corporate figure with Equis Financial. I know like physical appearance can be offensive to talk about, but it's really important to understand in the context of what I'm about to talk about. His appearance, he'd say, I'm the such and such boss at Equis. And he looked like the such and such boss at Equis. They did a lot of work from home stuff and they encouraged work from home. During COVID, they had developed a lot of their sales techniques and they realized that people could work from home and accomplish what was needed to be done. And so they were kind of sticking with that model. He would say, I'm such and such boss. And he'd look like that. And then he'd be like, oh, let's get someone else on the call. And it'd be like a split screen. And they always had guests. Although I did see some meetings they didn't have guests and the manager would do what I'm about to. So he'd be like, let's bring Sarah on. I remember there was this red-haired woman in particular who was on many times. I don't know her name because they scrubbed the face. She would be looking like a newscaster with makeup, jewelry, hair looked like almost like it was professionally done, although it probably wasn't. I will describe it as she would appear as a woman who had spent 90 minutes getting themselves ready for the Zoom call. And she would be in a room in her house that was always like immaculately clean, well decorated. You know, this job is so easy. Equis Financial always pushed working the lead. This is where I started to notice something strange. So they'd say like, oh, Sarah, let's do this meeting, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know what? Guys, this job is so easy. It's so easy to make money. Sarah, why don't you just like make a phone and like make some money right now? And Sarah'd be like, sure. And this is live. And she'd be like, I'm going to call this number. And she'd call it. And it appeared to me the people she were calling were real actual customers. Here's where it was really strange. Like, let's say Sarah figure would call someone. She kind of would go through a sales script and she would say, hi, this, and they taught you to never introduce yourself like formally or something. Try to sound like the person's friend. Like, if you answer the phone like, my name's Jason, you'd be like, hey, Mark, it's Jason. What's up? Like, that's how they taught you to talk. She should be like, hey, Susie, it's Sarah. What's up? And then the Sarah woman would say, you know, I sent you a letter and you mailed it back. The person on the phone would be like, oh, yes, I remember I received in the mail a letter and it was about this insurance product. It seemed really interesting and I wanted to talk to you about it. So I filled out the form and I mailed it back through the post office. And Sarah's like, yeah, do you want to get a meeting later to talk about maybe buying that insurance? And the lady'd be like, sure. Well, my husband's going to be home at like 2:30. And she's like, okay, I'll call you at 2:30. And then she'd be like, I'll talk to you later. And then the Sarah woman hang up the phone. She'd be like, that's it. I just got a meeting and I'm going to make money. The lead that this Sarah woman got was they had sent a letter to someone's house. The person had read the letter and mailed it back, indicating they were interested in purchasing. That was the quality of the lead that this Sarah on the raw Zoom meeting would be using. While you were in the Equis system, there was a lead store. And it did not appear to me that the leads Financial was selling was of that extreme quality. If you're an insurance person, that's a good lead. It mailed a letter to a house. It went to the right house. It was a real person. They read your letter and they mailed it back saying, I am interested. So it appeared this Sarah woman got a really high quality lead that I do not believe everyone working for the company had access.
Jason, let me jump in. If we listen to the Tyra Hamilton whistleblower interview, high-level manager, she says the same thing with Family First Life.
I've listened to most of yours. I wouldn't be shocked.
She got a chuckle out of that, saying that they were actors. And we should mention Equis Financial, Family First Life are owned by the same company called Integrity Marketing Group.
They did look like actors, but the thing is, they were making live phone calls on live Zoom videos and selling insurance. So I assume they have to realize.
After remembering what Tyra Hamilton stated,
like Hollywood actors, though. No, you're absolutely right.
It was performance
makeup and stuff like a Hollywood actor.
Performance art convinced agents to buy their lead would be more accurate.
These people who were often featured on the Zoom raw meeting, the ones who'd make the live phone call demonstrations, the ones who were getting these very high quality leads, were on a secret private face that you were encouraged to join. The management had to approve you. I think like 4, 5, 6,000 who were on this Facebook. Once you join this Facebook group, when you logged on your Facebook to see your friends post, of course, as you're scrolling, it would show the Equis Financial Financial post of the day because you happen to be in that group. The good-looking people who got the good leads, they were on the Facebook excessively because anytime someone would post something, one of like the good-looking people would be commenting under their post like, way to go, buddy. What ended up happening while I was there is the good-looking movie star type, they all use this same sheet of paper. You could buy the notebooks from Equis Financial with the sheets of paper in them.
Imagine if someone routinely calls people to make appointments, routinely closes,
Yeah.
which means they're making $1,000 a day on a regular basis.
Mhm.
And they have nothing better to do than to make posts on Facebook,
Yeah.
encouraging other insurance agents to
Yeah,
buy
and
leads.
you
That
yeah,
is weird.
someone saying, "I'm studying for my test. I'm gonna take it next Thursday. Hopefully I pass." And the movie star, good-looking person be like, "Way to go, buddy." And they post like a GIF of like a cat dancing.
While that person is making $1,000 a day with ease.
I'm about to say how much money. Let me say they were representing that they're making more than that, which I actually do believe because again, remember when you watch the Raw movies, people, their leads were received a letter in the mail, read about the insurance product and had mailed back saying, I am interested in like, that's a damn good lead. If you were getting, that was only the lead you're getting, oh, I'm sure you were making some cash. While you were on the Facebook, they started these like contests.
To let you know, that type of lead in the life insurance industry would probably run $100, if not more.
Yeah.
The people that succeed in the business
Yeah.
control their lead source. They hire full-time people. If you hire someone and you get someone who makes one lead like that every 2 or 3 days, you would be happy with that employee, even if he's making $15, $20 an hour, because you would pay your bill. I would assume that that lead would be well over $100.
Now, remember the chosen ones on the Raw calls look like movie stars and they're clicking a button in their immaculate room that's decorated and stuff and looks really nice. And they're like, hello, and then they're doing these meetings. The people who were on the Raw calls and they were posting on Facebook, they were starting content. They would fill out the paper because they taught you to fill out the paper in a certain way. I called this person, I called this person, I called this person. And then at the end of the day, it was like a math formula. Like a math formula, you type in, you draw a line, and then here's the answer. And then the answer would, I sold this much today, and I made this many appointments for the next week. The good-looking Raw people would be like, I sold 6,000 a day, I sold 700 a day, I sold 3,000 a day, I sold 9,000 a day. There were some of these Raw people allegedly selling, 35, 36,000 in a month, which I believe they might have actually been doing because, again, the leads they were getting were really good.
Jason, if they were actually doing that, they wouldn't have time or any desire
to go on Facebook.
to be posting on Facebook.
To be posting dates.
You have to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
You make that $5,000 a day. After about, I would say 30 days of making $5,000 a day, you're thinking about where to put all that extra money, where to invest it. You're not posting on Facebook. The rah-rah people are specifically stating that they're not managers. They're just regular salespeople.
Referred to them top producers, or they were just like star producers.
No interest in anything except helping out other people to buy more leads from Equis Financial. So the leads that they would be getting would be less because more people would be competing for that same lead. Completely nonsensical. If you have a good lead source, you want to keep that as secret as possible because there really aren't that many good lead sources.
These Raw people would be posting like every day with the call these people to do this, you set these appointments, you make so much money. And they would be telling everyone on Facebook, post your numbers, compete with us, buy the lead to make the phone calls. They were doing this for a long time. One day, Equis Financial themselves made a post on the Facebook. We just want everyone to know the FTC had apparently got access to this group. They are alleging that our contest of like posting these numbers is not correct. From now on, if you want to be posting your numbers, don't say I sold 4,000 in policies, say I helped families. Don't say I sold 6,000, say I helped 6 families. The raw, good-looking people would be like, hey everyone, I helped 5 families today. I helped 6 families today. We did this for like maybe a week, 10 days. Equis decided that that was even controversial. The day they released their statements, don't post dollar amount, within minutes they had scrubbed the entire Facebook and deleted every post that had a number. Now they had gone to this new format of saying I helped 5 families today, I helped 6 families today. So we did that for about a week, 10 days. Then they just scrubbed those. You could ask questions on Equis and you could post things. And again, like anyone could post anything and you'd post it. And again, one of the raw people would post like a dancing cat or like a baby giving you a thumbs up. All of a sudden, the Facebook changed where you couldn't even post anything. Like if you tried to post it, it just wouldn't post. And so now there was no interactive component. It just became like a board. And then all of a sudden, the post post really changed. The whole Facebook had completely changed from like contests and post your daily sales and look how much money the rah people are making. This lady made $6,000 in one day. And after the FTC apparently had logged into Facebook and saw what was going on, all of a sudden the posts were like, oh, did you know we sell final expense insurance? Like that became like the post. You couldn't even post anything. That's sad that you couldn't post things and get like a dancing kitty cat put on your post. So another thing I want to talk about, that was like the face scandal that I got to see live happen.
I believe the proper word would be scam.
Yeah, scam. Yeah, because my guy Florida, my recruiter, I swear he seemed like a little more honest when I got hired, but I wasn't hired yet. Like I didn't sign the contract yet. Right at first, the guy Florida is like, well, you have to be licensed. Did you know that? And I'm like, who doesn't know you need a license for insurance? Which maybe that is a clue of who they're hiring. And the insurance school they use really is the gold standard. It's called Exam FX. And he's like, we're going to use Exam FX. Exam FX, it's a course. He's like, this school's really expensive. We're going to pay for it.
I have a coupon, $14.99 or $19.99. If anyone needs that, join NAAIP.org. When you get that welcome email,
oh, okay.
I'm
I'm
about
to get to that part of the story. Okay.
It's either $14.99 or $19.99.
So he tells sign up for basically the most expensive class. And he says Equis is going to, and the word he used was pay for the huge majority of, because Equis had a coupon code.
Once you know the coupon code, you can log in 100 times.
It's general line lie. And he's like, use the Equis coupon code, which this was actually an Equis coupon code, which I found out later. And my $250 class becomes $30. And that was nice. So I signed up, I paid $29.95. It gets worse. So this was actually an Equis coupon code. That was an Equis Financial code, which you were not told this, that when you type a coupon code in, it flags your account and they can see your account. You don't know that because I got called later. This is like the part of the story for me that made me a little different. Equis Financial's like, go do the class, should take you a week, and then just sit for the license. Well, I was like, okay, I'm going to take like 2 or 3 months to do it. I wanted to read books on how to sell insurance, watch videos, watch training stuff, watch Equis training stuff, watch YouTube training stuff. And there was one weekend where I logged in, I did like 2 or 3 of the chapters in a week, and I got a phone call from the guy in Florida, and he's like, yeah, I logged in my system and saw that you did 3 chapters this week. That's really good. I also wanted to get the other general line, which was property casualty. I just wanted that for myself. Since Equis doesn't do property casualty, they wouldn't pay for that. Loaded up ExamFX and loaded up the property casualty side, and I clicked all the options I wanted in class. It was like $250. And I went on Google and I was like, ExamFX property casualty coupon code, and the state government of Utah came up. I clicked their website. We're not telling you we're the government. We're not telling you use ExamFX, but a lot of people have had success with it. They do a lot of coupon codes. Here's a bunch of their coupon codes. You can try them out. This is like just like a memo from the state of Utah to like people who are interested. I typed in some of the codes and one of them changed the class to like pay $30. Oh, it was just a coupon. It's not, they didn't even pay for it. It was just a coupon. You could just Google this crap. But Equis coupon code was a real Equis game in my class. That was their representation that they were paying for the school. I had been looking at other IMOs, and then it just loads these like dummy screens where you type in like your national producer number, you type in like your license number, you click this button, you do anti-money laundering class, you click this button, you E&O. Once you get to the end, it loads a carrier screen and you can start clicking carrier. As an unlicensed person, as someone just wanting to learn about the industry, you can call these people, you get a username and password and see what you would be doing if you chose to go with them. I was looking at other people and I was logging into their systems and do all this stuff, and then I click like carrier button and it would be like Mutual of Omaha, Citibank, Travelers Insurance, people I see on TV. If I watch NFL football, it's stuff I see on TV. Equis Financial, when you went into their demo system of the carriers, what the heck was that? Like, I was like, what? Columbia Insurance. Columbia? Is that the country? They're selling insurance? There were like insurance companies I never heard of that I had no idea who any of these people were. I began to wonder if they were like A-rated carriers or not. It was like ghetto graphics of like a puppy with a baby that the graphic looked like it was made in 1992, or families are great insurance, or whatever. It was people I had never heard of. Equis Financial is doing like Columbia insurance, like crap I've never heard of, like pictures of dogs and kitties. Really weird. So this is a big point. This is another scam. When you're looking at other providers, I'm going to sign up with this company and I'm going to do all my sales and all my business and everything with them. Go out and sell, and you're going to make like 90 cents on the dollar. You're using our software. We have access to lead companies. We have this, so you're going to make like 90 cents on the dollar. And the 10 cents you're losing is to help us pay for all this and be a profitable company. The guy from Florida tells me this is, I think, biggest scam at Equis Financial. Equis Financial is like so smart and so good. They know it all. They've got it down. They got a system that works. Everybody's making money. And he told me, he literally said, I want you to understand the first year, you're going to make like middle class. And he's like, the second year, I'm going to need you to hire a CPA. You were going to be making so much money. You're going to have all the tax off. You're going to be in a tax bracket you've never been. You're going to have to hire CPAs. You're going to be making so much money. And by year 4 or 5, you will make more money than a medical. And he's like, you got to understand that about our industry. I mean, it's like, we're all making more than doctors. And I was like, oh, okay. But it is interesting that he said the first year I wouldn't be making that much, because like I've seen allegedly that Equis, like they have been alleged that people buy leads and they don't succeed and stuff. So they're cushioning for like, oh, well, that's the usual in the first year. He represented to me that because Equis Financial knew all this stuff, they had all the information, they were so good, they had such a good, so amazing, they're like the best in the game, I would be making 70 cents on the dollar. And I'm like, seven? Because I was looking at other companies, they were paying like 80 and 90, and Equis would pay me 70 because I had to pay more to Equis because Equis knew so much. I did get licensed, time for you to sign the contract. So that day that happened, Equis in Asheville, North Carolina, Equis Financial in Asheville, Carolina, had gone on vacation, even though the guy in Florida is like, we both have to do something for you to sign your contract. So we're not signing it today because they're on vacation. And he's like, okay, so I'm going to start explaining to you what happens after you sign your contract. And I had already at this point seen some of your interviews and stuff. So I was already starting to be like, I really need to ask before I sign this paper. My guy in Florida was a little different, is that his people under him, he wanted to focus on like final expense and term life and not necessarily focus on the mortgage protection stuff. That was the focus of the raw call.
Jason, mortgage protection is term life.
It's the way you write the policy to be for the amount of the mortgage and blah, blah. And you could do like decreased face value contract to represent the amount of the mortgage going down, all that. We're talking and he says, we're going to start populating our carriers. And this is what he explains to me. We have this insurance company. To get a policy with them, the customer has to go to the doctor, get a physical and a blood test. If you sell that product, you get 70 cents. All of a sudden, I was thinking like, if I sell that contract, I get 70 cents. I thought you said all of my biz on the dollar. We have this really popular one. You don't have to go to the doctor and you don't have to get a blood test. And I thought, okay, if I'm the customer and someone calls me and says, you want life insurance, we have this one company, you need the doctor, you need to strip naked and turn your head and cough and get a blood test, or you can just like take this other one that you don't need any medical test. Which one are you going to choose as the customer? Anyways, he's like, that one's really popular. You don't need a medical test and everything. He's like, yeah. And so you need to put that carry on there. You're going to sell a lot of those and you get 45 cents on the dollar. I was like, 45 cents?
Okay. In the life insurance industry, there's something called non-medical and medical. Yeah. If a person buys the easy issue non-medical, it means they fill out their paperwork. The life insurance company goes through the Medical Information Bureau, driver's license, they'll check their credit, give you a yes or no answer. That means the company's charging more money for that.
So I was told that was going to be like my most popular policy. I was going to sell the most and I was going to make 40.
Here's the issue that new life insurance agents that buy leads are going through. Yeah. If you're selling these easy issue type policies and you're buying the lead from a high-tech company that has tens of thousands of gullible insurance agents, hypothetically, and it's not just hypothetical, it's actually happening based on the interviews that you see on my YouTube playlist of Family First Life witness list for the class action lawsuit. This data, because it's really not a lead, This data is going to dozens and dozens of other insurance agents. One of the easiest sales out there is to go to someone who has one of these easy issue life insurance policies. They already convinced themselves that they have a need for life insurance. Mrs. Jones, let's get you 40% more coverage for the same money, or the same coverage for 40% less money. Either or. It could be 50%, it could be multiples, who knows what it is. The main benefit of life insurance is tax deferred than tax-free income. Literally the only way that life insurance agents can make money on a long-term basis, when you tell someone, hey, it's not what you make, it's what you save. Life insurance gives you the right to sock away money for the future, for your retirement, on a tax deferred than tax-free basis. You better as heck get the best deal on your life insurance policy, because that money will be compounding for retirement. So if you're paying an extra $50 or $100 a month for a particular policy because you didn't feel like waiting a couple of weeks to see if you're accepted or not, is ridiculous. In the client's best interest to get the best deal they possibly can, because that money will affect their retirement nest egg.
When I was looking at other companies, when you sold a policy, you got residuals for 6 to 7 years. At Equis, you only get 1 year.
You're only going to get residuals if you get a good deal for the client. If the deal you got for the client is easily replaced to another company and that lead was sold to 20 other people, you're not going to get residual money. Any normal person would at least want to have the opportunity to get 40% more coverage for the same price, or pay 40% less. It's not go to the doctor and get a blood test and cough it's wait a couple of weeks in most cases to see what the results are. That's called a medical policy. Because of the increased technology we have the past couple of years, a lot of these medical policies issue stuff pretty quick. If you Google the word term life rate quote engine, you've got companies out there that $25 a month for $500,000 of insurance for a 35-year-old male. Any normal person would want to take a couple of weeks to see if he's accepted. If you want to put away money into the future, the extra money would be going to their retirement savings. So insurance agents traditionally make money by showing illustration. The illustration that says, hey, you're going to end up with $300,000 when you're 55 or 65 years old. That's how insurance agents make money. Life insurance is traditionally sold to middle to upper income people who invest $300, $400, $500, $600 a month into these type of financial vehicles.
Especially like whole life,
index universal life, or something to that effect. That's how agents traditionally make money. The get rich quick schemes to make it easy are very advantageous to the lead company. The lead companies would love you to believe you can make money like a doctor based on selling these quick issue policies. It's just not true.
The bottom line for me is the bait and switch that I saw was the first time Equis Financial talks to you, they say you're going to make 70%, 70 cents on the dollar. And when you get into it, they're like, we really want you to push this policy here that pays you 45 cents on the dollar. I was induced into having a relationship with Equis, understanding I'm getting 70 cents a dollar. Now, day one, I'm making 45.
I hate to say the real negative. These companies that are associated with Integrity Marketing Group, the one that I know best is Family First Life. They don't make 40 cents. They don't make 70 cents on a dollar. They don't make 100. They lose money by coming into the system. Robert Taylor
for leads and then selling a policy that only makes 45 cents on the dollar.
Robert Taylor of Minnesota spent $9,000 on leads, made 0 sales, made no money. He would be tickled pink if he made $1. He lost at least $9,000.
They told me that anyone could get insurance. The man said, literally to me, he said, we're so good. Cancer insurance, cirrhosis insurance, we can get anybody insurance. There's just this thing. I'm just like, now that I know what I know, I'm like, but they were telling me, like, it's fine. Sign up people with cancer, sign up people with terminal disease. When he first told me, I was like, that's really helpful. Like, that helped a lot of people. There are a lot of people with cancer in life insurance. But now that I know what I know, I'm like, holy crap, that's a no-no. To like knowingly be like, oh, let's sign you up, but just make sure to live for 2 years. I will say this about the raw call. We had this lead stem that you could buy leads in. Now, I was told the leads were like $45, but then you could buy them in groups and maybe get like a slight discount. So if you bought $600 worth or $700 worth, you'd get a slight discount. When I logged into the lead system, when you would try to buy like those leads, they were sold out. Oh God, that makes me feel bad. I'm like, wait, who was buying? Because they were sold out. Like when I have heard and I've read on forums stuff, they sold them several times, but they were sold out. And the leads I was being offered were like 500 to 600 days old, and they were $4 each. They were telling me to buy those, and all of a sudden there were a bunch of rah-rah calls where you can buy C and D quality leads, still make money. Here comes Sarah and makeup. I'm calling a C lead, hello, and all that. All the good leads were sold out when I was there, and then they were selling like 500 to 600-day-old leads for $4. They would tell you to buy and this is per phone number, $4 for a 600-day-old phone number, and they would tell you to buy them in bulk. When the FTC sat down, I called the guy in Florida I was dealing with. Let me tell you something. I've been an insurance agent, and the type of stuff that Equis is doing, every company, we all do cons. We all do that. And he's like, if you want to understand how insurance works, you need to watch a movie called The Wolf of Wall Street, because that's how it works. That's how much money we make. You're going to make more money than a doctor. And it was all this, you're going to make more money than a doctor. Don't worry, the FTC just shut down our Facebook.
What is very interesting about The Wolf of Wall Street, which I've recently learned, there's a gentleman in California which contacted his attorney general complaining about Family First Life. The attorney general of California gave him a referral to Family First Life. The scene that was in The Wolf of Wall Street, if you recall, people in Mississippi, Arkansas, and Alabama were complaining to their attorney general, who went up to the Securities and Exchange Commission and the FBI, and that's where the investigation started. Similar will happen regarding Family First Life. Based on what you're telling, companies that are associated with Integrity Marketing Group, if you listen to the Wes Newman interview, 35-year-old man got 90 calls in one day wanting him to buy final expense and Medicare insurance product. Then you've got the whole selling the leads to multiple people. You've got the bounty leads that Greg Burke mentions, former senior vice president. This is definitely something which is attorney general material, similar to The Wolf of Wall Street. The attorney general of the various states will not be referring this to the Securities and Exchange Commission. I suppose they'll be referring it to the State Department of Insurance. But we do have a whole list of agencies that should know about the fraud that is going on in this industry. I could name them one by one. Attorney General, Department of Insurance, Department of Labor, your state representative, your state senator, and the Federal Trade Commission. There is a hotline there. I'll list them at the bottom of this description.
Okay, The Wolf of Wall Street is a movie about committing fraud and defrauding your customers. And I was told to watch that movie and understand that that's how insurance.
The insurance industry, for new insurance agents specifically, the customer is the new insurance agent. These are the people being defrauded.
You said Family First Life. When I got licensed in the state of Texas, one of the questions on the license, what is your cell phone? Type it all in, is congratulations, you got your license. I get this email, it's you are now licensed state of Texas. I became the most popular person in Texas overnight. My phone would not stop ringing. Every 5 minutes, there was a fucking call coming. It was right after I got licensed. Everyone was calling me. I'm getting so many phone calls. And I answered the phone, and the guy's like, hey, I'm with Family First Life. I noticed you just got a general lines policy to sell life insurance. There's a website insuranceforums.com. It's just agents talking. No one had anything good to say about Family First Life. No one on that website. It's so many people. Oh, this guy's I'm with Family First Life, saying do you want to work for us or whatever? Do you want to set up an interview to learn about our company? They just kept calling. And then I asked the guy, it was because I'd seen your interview. I quit your company. Do I get to take my book of business with me? Do I get to keep it? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I mean, that's odd. You work for the company and you don't know that? And I was like, well, let me ask you another question. If I quit, would you call my carriers and try to freeze me out for 6 months? And he's like, I don't know. I'd have to. So that was my Family First calls I was getting. I said, well, I've already signed up with an aggregator. I really like them. They're a really great company. And I was like, the takeaways I get from it was there was all these raw people. Maybe they were actors. I don't know. Maybe it was real. I don't know. But I do know that they were on Facebook all day posting dancing kitty cats on people.
That is a bit strange. Someone who is making multiple thousands on a daily basis has an inclination to post kitty cats on Facebook to encourage other people to compete for their lead.
It was all you could be in this contest, you make money that we're making. You could be putting up numbers like we do on our little Facebook.
That has to be the number one red flag. Someone has a good lead source, they keep their mouth shut.
On the phone calls, like I said, it was always a two-person phone call. There was the man who said he was a manager at Equis Financial in the polo shirt. It was like a talk show. And the manager guy would always be like, guys, all you gotta do is work the leads. Just work the leads. The aggregator that I eventually signed with, their philosophy was like me creating my own.
What I've learned in this business after interviewing and speaking to hundreds, if not thousands of people, the only people that stick around, the only people who make decent money are those that know their business. Your job is to get in front of people. Your job is to close deals. If you outsource that getting in front of people to a third party, especially outsourcing that to a high-tech company that has a huge database of gullible gullible new insurance agents. This
Yeah.
is a tragedy that it's not waiting to happen. It will happen.
Equis Financial started in 2015, I believe, 2016. They haven't been around that long. The aggregator I signed with, they're nationwide, they have 8,000 agents, and they've been doing this since like 1990. When I signed up for them, it was all like generate your own leads. And like the first thing they said is like, we want to get you with our team to design like flyers and postcards. We have data and we're going to make who gets one of these in the mail, someone who like fits with you and is with your vibe, and the income level that you're comfortable with. If you want to do middle class and sell like final expense, we'll do that. If you want to do like upper class, do that. Whatever you're comfortable with, we're going to design mailers, and then they pay half of the postage, and their mailers are 46 cents. So you pay 23 cents per house. So you send 1,000 mailers for $230. It was all about developing your own leads in your own neighborhood. That seemed like a lot better.
It could be that the aggregator, or they're also called the IMO, is telling you the real story. If the IMO or the aggregator, when you walk in the store, wants you to empty out your bank account, buy leads from them, run away.
Now that you say that, that does trigger another memory I have of Equis Financial. This is another thing they said. When I get my license, I need to start buying non-resident licenses in states all across the country so I can buy leads in all across the country.
That is terrible advice, to be spending money on meaningless stuff when you live in a state called Texas that has tens of millions of people.
Yeah.
And all you really have to do is sell one policy every week or every couple of days and you're good to go. You don't need to spend extra money for Louisiana or Nebraska or anything else. It's
Yeah, the
complete
guy
waste of
from
money.
Florida I was talking to, he's like, I'm licensed. He told me he's licensed in like 25, 28 states or something like that. He's like, yeah, get licensed in a bunch of states so you can buy leads in all these different states.
That should be telling you that the focus of this organization is to sell you leads. You are the customer.
This was like blatantly wrong. Is when I was still unlicensed and I was doing exam FX, the Florida guy called me one night and he's like, I got a bunch of leads. I'm having trouble calling them all. And he's like, you want to call some leads for me? And if you set the appointment, I'll split the commission with you. In Texas, you can split the commission with someone. If you're both licensed in Texas, you can legally split a commission, but the person has to be licensed also in Texas. And the guy's like, yeah, I call these phone numbers. If you set an appointment, I'll.
And I do appreciate you telling us the skinny or the real story, what happens to Equis Financial agents, especially before they got the cease and desist by the Federal Trade Commission. I do encourage people who have stories about fraud and bad actors in this industry to complain to the proper governmental authorities, as well as comment below. If anyone wants to tell their story, please call my office. Jason, at this point, your job as an insurance agent is to do everything you can to come across and be perceived as a professional person, as well as to know the product. I encourage you to register
you interviewed, he bought $100 of the leads. He had like a New York accent. What you tell me about it? He was like, you're the buyer's agent. You're not working for an insurance company. You have fiduciary duty.
You're supposed to be an expert at your profession, which is getting in front of people, closing deals, knowing what you're talking about.